I broke the 3-day rule in Pattaya, and now I am married to a former bar girl. Yes, my wife used to work in a bar, talking and drinking with other customers. I've heard every insult and judgment that comes with that 100 times over, and really, none of it bothers me anymore. We met one night while I was in Pattaya, and she was working in the bar that I went to. I was your typical tourist on another party trip. I think it was my 4th or 5th time there. Back then, I had my own little rule book. Only bar find a girl for one night and never go back to the same bar more than 3 times. It kept things simple. No attachments, no drama, no strings. It was kind of like that 3-day rule that people talk about, except mine was just a one-night version. I thought I had it all figured out, a so-called Pate veteran. Turns out, even the guys who think that they know it all, they can still fall hard. One night, I walked into a bar with a girl I'd already bar-fined earlier. I liked to take them for a drink somewhere else first, see if they were any fun or worth the second round later. Anyway, when we went back inside, my future wife was working that night. She came over, smiled, and asked if we wanted drinks. I was already half cut and acting like a bit of an idiot, so I looked at her and way too bluntly I asked if she wanted to come out with us. Total tourist move. She hit back straight away and went to serve someone else, and to be honest, I don't blame her one bit. I knew right away I'd made a clown of myself. She didn't even make a scene or anything, but I could tell from her face she thought I was a complete clown. Even after I left with the other girl that night, I couldn't stop thinking about it. The next day, hungover and feeling like an idiot, I decided I should go back and apologise and maybe buy her a drink. When I walked in that night, she saw me and instantly came over, smiling again like nothing had happened. I was surprised she was even being polite after what I did. Maybe I hadn't noticed the night before because I was too drunk, but she was seriously gorgeous, proper stunning. I ordered a chang and she brought it over and sat down with me. I told her I was sorry for being rude the night before and asked if she'd join me for a drink, and she said, yeah, no problem. I said to her it wasn't really like me to say something like that I'd just been drinking too much. She laughed and said it was fine. She'd heard much worse working there, and honestly, I believe her. We got on really well after that. We had a good laugh. I stayed fairly sober that night, and a few drinks later, I ended up bar-finding her. From that night on, things just felt different. We spent the rest of my trip together, and now, going out alone or bar hopping, it just didn't seem fun anymore. Normally, I'd wake up, say goodbye to whoever I was with, and already be planning which bars to go to that night. But this time was different. I'd wake up, say goodbye to her, actually look forward to seeing her again the same evening. I bar-find her every night after that, and we spent all our days together too, eating, walking around, and just relaxing. It didn't feel like she was working anymore. She genuinely enjoyed being around me, and I could feel it. It's hard to explain, but when it's real, you just know. There's a big difference between a girl doing her job and a girl actually wanting to be with you. I could see it in how she acted, the little things, like how she laughed or how she talked to me when we were away from the bar. I even went through my lineup one night and deleted every other number I had. Girls I'd met before, ones I liked, all gone. She didn't ask me to do it, but she used to joke about my phone being full of bar girls. And I could tell she was a bit jealous. I wanted to show her I was serious, and she noticed. After that, things between us felt even more perfect. Not like a quick fling, but like something real was starting. Spending time with her wasn't all about drinking and the fun stuff either. we actually got to know each other properly. She told me about her life back home, how she'd been married to a Thai guy, had a baby, and how he walked out on her when their kid was just a baby. She was left to handle everything alone, no help from him or his family, and that's what pushed her to make a big change. She told me that before ending up in Pattaya, she actually tried working in Phuket first. She didn't want to do the bar work back then, so she got a job in a massage parlour, doing proper Thai massages, not the kind that most tourists are thinking about. She said she worked hard and was good at it too, but even then, the money was still pretty crap. Most of the customers coming in weren't after a normal massage anyway, and that made her feel uncomfortable. After a few months, she had to head back to her village to take care of her son for a bit. The plan was to return to Phuket and keep working, but once she got back home, she realised she didn't really want to go back there again. She tried to make things work in the village, but it just wasn't enough. Pay was tiny, and she found herself borrowing money from her parents just to get by. That's when one of her friends stepped in and talked her into trying out Pattaya. Her mate had been working there for about a year and seemed to be doing really well for herself. She always looked done up, had new clothes, fancy nights out, and plenty of cash coming in from sponsors sending her money every month. My wife told me that seeing all of that, the lifestyle, the freedom, the money, made her very curious. So she made the move to Pattaya, even though she never imagined herself working in a bar. When she got there, she left her son with her parents and promised to send them money every week. She was, and still is, very beautiful, with an incredible figure, so she did well from the start. She got a job at the same bar her friend worked in and was making decent money from day one. She told me she didn't like the job at first, but she forced herself to shut off the emotions and just think about the money. That's how she got through it. And about 6 months later, that's when I showed up. Lucky timing for both of us. When my trip ended, I flew back to the UK. I honestly did not think anything serious would come of this. Normally, as soon as the plane takes off, that's it, end of story. No need to keep in touch, no messages, nothing. That's how I always did it. Pattaya was just a break from reality, and when I got home, life went back to normal. But this time, it was different. We stayed in touch. I'd message her, she'd reply, and before I knew it, we were chatting every day. It wasn't forced or awkward, it just flowed. Even then, I wasn't expecting much to come of it. We'd just be some type of online friends, maybe chat here and there, until I eventually lost interest. But the more we talked, the more I started thinking about her. I realised I actually missed her, and that caught me off guard. After a while, we decided I'd come back to Thailand to see her again, properly this time. 2 full weeks together. When I arrived, I barfined her for the whole trip. Not because she asked me to, but because I already knew she'd be losing money if she didn't work. We both knew what the deal was, and it felt fair. There was no scamming or sneaky stuff going on, we just wanted to spend time together. That second trip sealed it for me. We spent every single day together, and by the end of it, we agreed that we wanted to be in a real relationship. It wasn't some fling anymore. I cared about her, and she cared about me. The only problem was, I had to fly back home again, and I knew exactly what kind of place she would still be working in. That was probably the hardest part, going back home knowing what she'd be doing while I was gone. No man wants to picture the woman he cares about still working in a bar in Pattaya. We all know what goes on in those places, but at the time, I just didn't have enough money to support her, and she understood that. She was honest with me from the start. She told me straight up that she'd still have to work until things changed. She tried to make it easier for me by calling me or messaging me every night after she finished. Sometimes she'd tell me she was too tired or busy after work, and even though I hated hearing it, I just accepted it. I kept telling myself it wouldn't be like that forever. I knew I had to deal with it if I wanted us to have a future. When I finally managed to save enough, I went back for my third trip. I'd been working like mad and putting every penny to the side. That time, we got out of Pattaya for a bit and went to Koh Samui for 2 weeks. It was like a completely different world. No bars every few meters, no constant noise, just beaches, quiet nights, and a proper relaxed mood. It felt like a real holiday, like what couples are supposed to do. We got along perfectly that trip. Everything just clicked right in place, and by the time it was over, I knew I loved her, and I think that she felt the same. After that trip, we had a long talk about what comes next. I was finally in a position where I could help her out a bit so she wouldn't have to keep working at the bar anymore. Any guy who's ever been in that kind of relationship knows that's the next big step. If you want to take her out of the bar, you've got to support her. But that's also where most of these stories go downhill, because money changes everything. A lot of guys send money thinking their girls quit the bar, only to find out she's still working or just visiting her friends. You will hear every excuse under the sun. I'm here for a drink, I'm not working, just talking to customers, my boss asked me to help out tonight. The list goes on. My view was simple. If I'm paying you to stop working there, then you don't go back. Otherwise, I'm done. So we agreed on 20,000 baht a month for her and another 5,000 for her family. It wasn't a huge amount, but it was good enough for her to live comfortably without needing to go back to the bar. I even told her if it ever got too tight, she could work 1 or 2 nights a week to make a bit of extra money. But she told me she didn't want to, that the 20,000 was enough, and I believed her. Not long after that, she managed to get a visitor visa and came to the UK. She fell in love with the place straight away. She told me she wanted to build a life with me here, and I wanted the same. We got married in the UK, went through all the paperwork, and here we are now, still together and still happy. My wife's never been ashamed of her past, and she's got no regrets about working in the bar. She told me straight, yes, people judged her, but at the end of the day, having money and living comfortably mattered more than what a bunch of strangers thought. And looking at how far she's come, I can't argue with that. She managed to save a solid amount before leaving Thailand, and now, with both of us working in the UK, things have gotten even better. She bought a house back in Thailand where her parents still live, a car here in the UK, and she's got savings in both countries. She's even buying up bits of land back home for when we eventually move back there for good. Yes, I know what you are thinking, it's all in her name. That's just how it is in Thailand. But I'm fine with that. It's a risk I'm willing to take because I trust her. She also set up a small shop in Thailand that her family run, and we've been talking about expanding it when we are ready to settle back there. It's nice seeing her proud of what she's built. She's worked hard for everything, and none of it was handed to her. Her son eventually joined us in the UK once we got all the paperwork sorted, and later on, we had another little boy. A total surprise, but the best kind of surprise. It was a scary moment at first because it wasn't planned, but I couldn't have been happier. Now her first son is going to school here. He's got way more opportunities than he would have back in Thailand. The education system there just doesn't compare. Here, At least he's got options and a real shot at a future. Life's been good, and I'm thankful I walked into that bar that night. Even if I said the wrong thing at first, it all worked out. People always give you that funny look when you tell them how you met, but neither of us are embarrassed by it. We just laugh. At the end of the day, being happy is what matters. It's usually the guys who get jealous in a Thai foreign relationship, but with Thai women, it can go both ways. My wife still gets paranoid that I'll run off with another Thai woman, even after all these years. That's just how it is. Thai women can get jealous over the tiniest of things. When we visit Pattaya, which we do pretty often since that is where we met and where a lot of her friends live, she won't let me wander around alone. If I want to go out, I've got to have a mutual friend with me. It's not really me she doesn't trust, it's the girls. She knows exactly how Pattaya works, and she's seen every trick in the book. She knows how easy it is for girls there to target tourists or even guys in relationships. So she keeps me on a short leash when we are there, and I kind of get it. I used to be one of those guys who laughed at others who fell in love with bar girls. I remember thinking, how can anyone be that stupid? And then it happened to me. Once you experience it yourself, you realise how easy it is to fall for someone there. Writing all this down still feels a bit surreal. Back then, I was just a happy-go-lucky guy who went with the flow. Love wasn't even on my radar. Pattaya was my escape, my place to let loose without anyone back home knowing about it. I tell my friends and family I'd been visiting temples and trying Thai food, but in reality, I was just living the wild nightlife. They probably knew what I was really doing, but no one ever said anything. It's funny how life works out. You never know when love is going to hit you. It's not the most romantic story in the world, but it's real, and it's ours. We still laugh about how we met, and I wouldn't change a thing. I truly believe she is my soulmate, and that we were meant to cross paths that night. I already know what a lot of people will say, that she's just waiting to bleed me dry and disappear. I've seen all those comments before. Most of those stories don't tell the full picture. There's usually a big age gap, money problems, or some kind of misunderstanding behind it all. It's not always about being scammed. Sometimes it's just about people making bad choices. In my case, me and my wife are only a few years apart, and we both earn our own money. We are equals. That's the big difference compared to a 60-year-old falling for a 22-year-old who still calls her mum every night asking for cash. Not every bar girl's out there trying to wreck someone's life. A lot of them just want a better future for themselves and their families. They are not angels, but they are not all crooks either. I trust my wife completely, more than anyone, but I'm not stupid. I still keep my money and my investments safe, just in case. But deep down, I don't worry about her. I really believe we'll be together forever. Did she see me as an easy payday when we first met? Maybe. I'll never really know. But feelings grow, and I know for sure we are in love. And if I am wrong about everything, if one day she does take off with all of it, then fair play. I'll send in another story and let everyone have a laugh at my expense. Whenever we go back to her village in Thailand, I can't help but laugh to myself sometimes. We'll be driving around and she'll point out these nice brick houses, not the bamboo-style huts, but proper built ones, and she'll say, the woman who lives there used to work in bars too. And then she'll add that the woman married a foreigner, got divorced, and now lives back there with a Thai husband in a house she built from the money she made. It happens more often than you think. I'm not saying every story turns out bad, but that's the reality of it for a lot of people. I know I sound like I'm showing off the good side of things, and yes, my story is one of the lucky ones, but I'm not blind to what goes on. Plenty of foreigners have lost everything because they trusted the wrong person, and it happens all the time. Still, I believe there are just as many success stories. You just don't hear about them as much. In the end, it comes down to a lot of common sense. Some guys have it and some don't. If you use your head, take your time, and don't throw money around like confetti, things can work out. But if you ignore every warning sign, then yeah, you're probably going to get burned. I actually know quite a few guys back in the UK who've married Thai women and brought them over. Most of them have been happily married for years. Their wives work, pay bills, and they pull their own weight. They are not sitting around expecting handouts or playing the gold digger role people love to talk about. There's this huge misconception that every Thai woman wants to marry a foreigner just to escape Thailand and live some easy life abroad. The truth is, most of them love their country. They've got family there, roots there, and they'd happily stay if they could live a comfortable life. For the ones who do move abroad, it's not about some scam, it's because they actually fell in love. I've seen plenty of cases where both partners work hard and build something together. It's not all one-sided like people think. Not every Thai woman is out there looking for a ticket out of the country. Most just want a fair chance and a bit of stability. The ones who marry foreigners for love, they make it work just like everybody else. When my wife was still in Phuket, she told me about this woman she worked with at the massage shop who claimed she was a fortune teller. She said she could see things that normal people couldn't. My wife never really believed in that kind of thing, and neither do I. But one day the woman told her she'd get married 3 times, live a good life, have plenty of money, and end up moving overseas. Turns out, most of that actually came true. She did move out of Thailand, she's doing well, and we've got a solid life together. So yeah, I'm just hoping that the 3 husbands part was a thing she got wrong, because I'm number 2. In reality, there's always a risk when you get serious with a bar girl. The question is whether she really has feelings for you or if you are just another customer to her. But you can usually tell, it's not rocket science. You can see it in how she acts around you, how she talks to you when there's no money involved. If it feels real, it probably is. So if you ever find yourself in that position, just go with your gut. Take the chance if it feels right. But if the money starts disappearing fast and you are constantly being asked to send more money for no real reason, then you've got to look at it like that's a big red flag. You'll know when it's not right. Just don't let fear or what people say stop you from taking a chance at something that could actually make you happy. I've watched plenty of stories on this channel, and I'll admit, I get wound up reading some of the comments. You always get them blokes who had a bad run-in with a Thai girl and then act like every single Thai woman is the same. Most of the sad endings you hear, the heartbreak, the empty wallets, come from older guys who fell for the first girl that smiled at them, and that's usually a young bar girl. They convince themselves she's into them, that she wants something real, even though she's half their age and living a completely different kind of life. A lot of these men are either new to Thailand or haven't had much luck with women before, so when a pretty girl shows them a bit of attention, they get swept away. But to be fair, it's not just the new guys. Even fellas who've been around, who think they know the game inside out, they can still get caught up in the bar girl trap. It happens to the best of us, even if we don't admit it. Every country's got good and bad people, and Thailand is no different. What really gets me is when people judge Thai women just because of what some of them do for work. Of course, I'm talking about girls who work in bars, clubs, and do nightlife work, the ones everyone loves to look down on. Sure, it's not exactly the dream job you'd want your missus doing, but that doesn't mean they deserve all the hate. Everyone's got their own reasons for how they end up where they are, and most of us don't know half their story. If you are heading to Thailand for a bit of fun and a holiday, go for it. Do your thing. But if you start catching feelings for one of these girls, don't act like it's the end of the world just because a random person online says it won't work. Of course, you've got to be smart about it, especially in Pattaya. That place is full of warning signs before you even step foot in a bar. And yeah, the reasons not to get involved with a bar girl probably outnumber the reasons too. But just because some 57-year-old found out his 20-year-old girlfriend had a Thai boyfriend doesn't mean you are going to have the same story. Common sense goes a long way over there. Most of the time, it's easy to see when it's just a bit of fun and when there's actually something real going on. Deep down, we all know when a girl is genuinely into us and when she's just playing the game. But if that was always true, we wouldn't hear so many stories ending badly. Still, you can usually tell the difference between the one who's lying non-stop and always talking about money and the one who actually wants to spend time with you away from the bar life. People love to talk down about bar girls in Pattaya, but most of them don't have a clue what life's like back in the tiny villages. Try living on 150 baht a day. That's about $4, and see how easy it is. I'll be honest, I don't really know either, but I do spend at least a month out there every year, and I've seen enough to get the picture. My wife's village isn't exactly in Isan, but it's close enough, and the pay for working in the fields there is just as bad. The work is back-breaking, and the money's barely enough to get by. You can't even buy a single drink in a nice bar with 150 baht these days, but some people are earning around that for the entire day's work. Meanwhile, the girls inside those bars can make that from one lady drink in commission alone. So can you really blame a village girl for wanting a better life? They are not sitting there dreaming about fancy handbags, they just want to make enough to eat properly and take care of their families. Most of the women working in the bars are single mums. Their parents or sisters back home usually look after the kids while they're out working, sending what money they can to keep things afloat. Some of them do have Thai boyfriends or husbands, but good luck getting the truth about that. And even if they do, those men usually have their hands out too, waiting for a cut of whatever she earns from the bar. Well, that's me and my story. Cheers for listening and all the best.